Welcome back to the Centre for Christian Spirituality as we continue our reflections on the Gospels of the Sunday. Today we've reached Lent and we're going to reflect on the Gospel of the first Sunday of Lent. Then Jesus was led by the Spirit into the wilderness to be tempted by the devil. He fasted 40 days and 40 nights, and afterwards he was famished. The tempter came and said to him, "If you are the Son of God, command these stones to become loaves of bread." But he answered, "It is written, one does not live by bread alone, but by every word that comes from the mouth of God." Then the devil took him to the holy city and placed him on the pinnacle of the temple, saying to him, "If you are the Son of God, throw yourself down, for it is written, he will command his angels concerning you, and on their hands they will bear you up, so that you will not dash your foot against a stone." Jesus said to him, "Again it is written, do not put the Lord your God to the test." Again the devil took him to a very high mountain and showed him all the kingdom of the world and their splendour. And he said to him, "All these I will give you if you will fall down and worship me." Jesus said to him, "Away with you, Satan, for it is written, worship the Lord your God and serve only him." Then the devil left him, and suddenly angels came and waited on him. The idea of being tested by God is very much part of the Old Testament as well. We think of Abraham and being tested by offering his son. And so Jesus, at the very beginning of his ministry, is tempted by things that are very relevant to his ministry. The Messiah that Jesus was going to be was not the Messiah that people were expecting. They were expecting perhaps an economic Messiah that would change the stones into bread. That's not what he was here for. And they expected a power worker, a miracle worker, somebody that would jump from the top of the temple and people would recognise what's there. And others were expecting a military commander, as it were. In other words, that this person would restore the kingdom of David. And that's the third temptation. So the temptations to Jesus about doing the will of his Father. He had come to be a particular form of Messiah, a suffering Messiah, which was not the expectation of the Jewish people. And these temptations, which reoccur in the Gospel as Jesus goes through it, are very serious ones. The devil will come back at the time of the Passion, when clearly people are mocking Jesus on the cross with similar sorts of statements. But Jesus' fidelity to the Father is the thing that comes through very strongly. And it's that fidelity in the face of difficulty and temptation that really is at the core of being a disciple of Jesus.
I guess the thought going through my mind is the temptation for us is to see the gospel story just in segments and not as a totality. And like you mentioned, that what happens here continues later because the devil keeps coming back. So it's not as this is a one-off event and that's it. And we can read the gospel a bit like that. So there's a sense in which the reality of what happens here is a reality of life for me. And it's that ongoing daily grind where my response is conditioned, if you like, by my faithfulness to Jesus or by my giving in to, if you like, the devil.
I think this is a very dramatic scene in the scripture. It reminds me almost like a play. But when you look at the details, Jesus is led into the wilderness by the Spirit, which kind of, to me, is peculiar, why the Spirit takes you into the desert, and he's there for 40 days. The personalising of it is he's then famished. So it's a very human person after 40 days. And then the devil, I keep thinking to myself, I've never thought of the devil speaking, but it's really a dialogue between Jesus and the devil. And I wonder, in a way, to what does that mean in 2017? I wonder that voice of the devil that's very alive in our world, you know, when am I in dialogue with that voice that is tempting me in a way, or doubting what I'm doing? So what struck me about was the drama of this dialogue that the devil has with Jesus, because I'd never actually, it's a person in the scripture, a very real person, which in fact I think today we struggle with. How do we describe the devil? How do we describe that who tempts us in a way that, anyway, that was what really struck me.
We invite you now to add your reflections on what we've said. Just take a few moments to look at the gospel and see what it is that you draw out of it. We invite you now to hear the gospel read again.
Then Jesus was led up by the Spirit into the wilderness to be tempted by the devil. He fasted 40 days and 40 nights, and afterwards he was famished. The tempter came and said to him, "If you are the Son of God, command these stones to become loaves of bread." But he answered, "It is written, one does not live by bread alone, but by every word that comes from the mouth of God." Then the devil took him to the holy city and placed him on the pinnacle of the temple, saying to him, "If you are the Son of God, throw yourself down, for it is written, He will command His angels concerning you, and on their hands they will bear you up, so that you will not dash your foot against a stone." And Jesus said to him, "Again it is written, do not put the Lord your God to the test." Again the devil took him to a very high mountain and showed him all the kingdoms of the world and their splendour. And he said to him, "All these I will give you, if you will fall down and worship me." And Jesus said to him, "Away with you, Satan, for it is written, worship the Lord your God and serve only him." Then the devil left him, and suddenly angels came and waited on him.
It was the fidelity of Jesus that came through to me. I think that was the great temptation of Jesus, to depart from the will of the Father. I came not to do my will, but the will of him who sent me. So it was always, thy will be done. And I think the temptation for him was always to depart from the will of God. And I think it's our focus too, fidelity to what Jesus has said. And I think to reflect on that fidelity in your own life is a good practice.
I'm thinking we've just been marked by Ashes a few days ago on Ash Wednesday, and now we're entering fully into this pathway to Easter, and each Sunday we're going to be taken step by step along that path, and here we are confronted with the reality of temptation, of what is it that this journey for us is about, where is it leading, and how are we, like Jesus, as you mentioned, David, to remain faithful on this journey, this call of discipleship.
And I suppose what I noticed in particular was to not be afraid of the wilderness. In a way, the Spirit leads him into this wilderness. So during this period of Lent, to actually try and embrace these 40 days of a time of discernment and reflecting more deeply.
Yes. I think the desert is really the moment of life, as it were, and with all its difficulties and trials that come. We invite you now perhaps to look at something in your life that you might have been affected by what has been read. Remember that the process of reading the scriptures isn't completed until the reality of the scriptures is a reality in your own life. So just choose something that you might do as a result of reading the scripture. I can do all things in him who strengthens me, says St. Paul, and we need the strength of the Lord to implement the decisions that we have made. So just spend a short time asking the Lord to give you the strength and the courage and the wisdom that you need to implement your decision. We can conclude now. We thank you for being with us for this reflection, and we invite you to be with us next week when we will reflect again on the Gospels of the Sundays, and we will conclude now by reading the prayer from the first Sunday in Lent.
Grant, Almighty God, through the yearly observances of Holy Lent, that we may grow in understanding of the riches hidden in Christ, and by worthy conduct pursue their effects through Christ our Lord.